Alright guys, it's that time again, another Nintendo Switch 2 video. However, this is one that I think is pretty exciting to talk about. Obviously, in the Switch 2 reveal trailer, we only know one official game. There's a few other games out there that we officially know that's coming to the Switch 2, but in terms of Nintendo, we only know one game, and that's the next Mario Kart entry. And I asked you guys online, what games did you want to see for the Nintendo Switch 2? This could be anywhere from first party to third party, and we got a lot of responses into this. I was actually pretty surprised how many comments we got from both YouTube and Twitter that it actually made this pretty difficult to decide what posts I wanted to talk about. So to all you that participated in that, every single one of you gave great responses, and if those responses aren't used, it's just because I don't want this to be a super long video. Y'all crushed it with the responses. Without further ado, let's show off some of those responses and let's talk about what I think of it and how it could work for the Switch 2. Our first one comes from Toasty, and he actually has some pretty good suggestions of first-party games that should be coming to the Switch. A new Animal Crossing, a new Tomodachi Life, or a 3D Kirby game. I think it's a safe bet to say that an Animal Crossing game will be coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 at some point. Kind of hard to figure out when though. Obviously when it came out for the original Nintendo Switch, it came out 3 years into the Switch lifecycle. And we know that the developers have already ended development for New Horizon. I want to say, was it 2022 when that happened? They were already working on their next project, which we know is definitely a brand new Animal Crossing game. Now, with that being said, how many years have they developed this? They probably had a little mini project team working on it, and then by the time all the DLC came out for New Horizons, that's when it became a full-time project. So I expect development has been on this new Animal Crossing already for years. And it wouldn't surprise me if in year 2 of the Switch 2 is when we will see a new Animal Crossing for the Switch. I don't know though, I could be wrong. I mean, hey, it could even come out this first year. I do think Nintendo is going to want to try to get Animal Crossing out as soon as possible due to how successful that game was for the original Switch and how mainstream Animal Crossing has become. A 3D Kirby, you know, it's hard to say what the future of Kirby is. Are they gonna do 3D Kirby games? Are they gonna do 2D Kirby games? It's really hard to say. I do feel like we're definitely getting a Kirby game, as the Kirby got a lot of games on the Nintendo Switch. You had Star Allies, you had The Forgotten Land, you had, what was that one game called? Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Not to mention all the eShop games they made. They had like Dream Buffet, they had Fighters 2. There's like 5 or 6 Kirby games out there for the Switch already. So I know Kirby's gonna be a big thing for the Nintendo Switch 2. It's just what option are they gonna do with Kirby? I feel like going forward, 3D is gonna be what they do with Kirby, but they might do both. You might get a 2D and 3D Kirby game because they're both such successful titles. I don't know. That's one that I think is kind of hard to determine what's going to happen. And then as far as Tomodachi Life, I'm not really sure. I actually think there's a good possibility we're going to see that on Switch 1 still, because I still think the Switch is going to be supported for at least 2 years, and that's going to be a separate video in itself that we'll be talking about and why I feel that. But, you know, with Tomodachi Life, it's a highly requested game to come back to the Switch. Maybe Nintendo does it, but I feel like if it is happening, it's going to be on Switch 1, just a remaster, not for Switch 2, but with backwards compatibility, it'll work. The Litz came up with a pretty good response here. He wants bigger first-party multiplayer games, something like a Battle Royale with Splatoon, like a 99-player mode. We saw Nintendo utilize this a lot with Tetris 99, we even saw it with Mario Bros 35, I think they even did a Pac-Man one at one point, Pac-Man 99. Am I going crazy? I feel like that happened. And I think that's something that Nintendo could be doing for the Switch too, as all 3 of those games were super successful for the Switch. Everyone was talking about it, and it was quite popular. I feel like Nintendo is going to want to do this again, and maybe with Mario, because Mario 35 was such a creative project. I don't know what Nintendo is going to do, but I feel like multiplayer is going to be a big focus for them, considering the fact that Mario Kart is more than likely a launch title for the Switch 2. And they're even doing more players for that. 24 players? It seems like they want more multiplayer games where you can have way more players. This one comes from It's From Bowser, who's actually Coleman. He's the one editing this video. He's probably doing something stupid right now, but that's besides the point. He wants a new Smash Bros. Game that reworks the characters and a brand new F-Zero game. He also says you probably want to, yeah, we're not even going to respond to that, Coleman. That was not funny. You need to just never make a joke again. But let's first talk about what you said in the first tweet, the first half at least. A new Smash Bros. Game. That's obviously going to happen for the Switch 2, but what is it going to be? How does the team over there with Sakurai top what Smash Bros. Ultimate was? I don't think they can reboot the series because everyone's gonna be upset if they don't have their favorite character in the game. Characters are obviously a big deal for the Smash Bros. Series. I feel like the next thing they can do to really up the levels with this is utilize third-party characters, because that's what ended up having such a big response with the game when we saw things like Steve, Sora, Sephiroth, all of these characters. It blew up the internet seeing these characters in the game. And I think the only way they can top that is more third-party characters. The thing is, those licenses are so hard to get that that's probably why they were DLC characters, because the companies can make a little kickback on top of that. So I don't know what's the best move. How does Smash Bros. Go forward? Do they rework characters like Coleman just suggested and do like crazy things with the moveset? We saw with Smash 4, they had custom movesets available where you were able to do like 4 different moves, but they didn't really utilize that. Could the next Smash Bros. Game utilize that? I don't know. I don't know how they top the Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's gonna be really hard, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how they do it. But I do know a new Smash Bros. Is probably gonna come within maybe the first year or second year of the Switch 2. Nintendo's gonna want that game as soon as possible, just like Animal Crossing. It just makes sense. F-Zero, now this is a possibility. We were just talking about 99 games. There's F-Zero 99 out there. That was pretty popular, and that's all we heard from the F-Zero series. We haven't had a new F-Zero game since GameCube. Obviously, Captain Falcon continues to be a more popular character as he gets put into the Smash Bros. Games. I think there's more Smash Bros. Games that Captain Falcon is in than there are F-Zero games at this point, which is kind of crazy to think. But it seems to be that Nintendo doesn't really want to do much with the series. I know during the Wii U era, Miyamoto talked about doing a new F-Zero, but he said that the controls were just not there. He wanted to wait till the right controls came out with the Nintendo console, and that the Wii U was just not the right fit. The Switch 2? I don't know what type of fit Miyamoto is wanting here to make a new F-Zero game, but it seems like they want unique controls, which could be a bad thing because we saw what happened with Star Fox Zero. So I don't know what they're trying to do here, but the controls are something that always gets brought up when it comes to F-Zero. I think they could just remaster F-Zero GX and the fans would be more than happy with that as long as it has online play. Personally, I think you should do that, and then we look at a new F-Zero. See how popular F-Zero GX is and how it works with online, if it even makes sense to continue the series from that point. This next one comes from someone else named Max. He wants a 3D Zelda game that returns to the whole format, not the open world format where you can beat at your own pace. He actually says something else in the tweet, but we're not going to show this on the channel because we're just not that type of channel, but he has some very strong words about how Zelda games have been. Now, with Zelda right now, I feel like that's going to be the pace that you're going to see for the rest of the series. That's what made Zelda really, really popular right now. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are obviously the biggest Zelda games for Nintendo right now, and I think that that's going to be the thing that goes forward with that series. You could see some remasters come out for it, but I do think we're getting a new Zelda game. I don't know if it's going to be a continuation of Tears of the Kingdom or if it's going to be a whole new line of Zelda, but we're getting a Zelda game. I'm expecting that to happen within the 3rd year of the Switch 2, because we obviously just had Tears of the Kingdom come out last year. And I don't expect development has started as fast-paced as they would want it. It's probably going to be like the 3rd or 4th year till we get another big Zelda game on the Switch 2. This one comes from Dag. All he says is this, which is a remastered collection of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I'm assuming he's wanting the 3DS versions. I think this is also a possibility, especially considering that it might take a very long time till the next Zelda game comes out for Switch 2. They might release this to really satisfy those players that are begging for a new Zelda. They might even do Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. I think this is a good possibility that wouldn't surprise me that comes out for both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 within the next 2 years. You know, Dingus makes a great point here that I kind of forgot to bring up when we did this video for third-party games, things that I thought was coming to the Switch 2. And that was the fact that Call of Duty. He's saying that Call of Duty should be on the Switch 2, and it's more than likely going to be on the Switch 2. because Microsoft has even mentioned that they want to put Call of Duty on Nintendo platforms when they had this whole big agreement with buying Activision. So we know it's Microsoft's plan to put Call of Duty on the Switch 2. So it wouldn't surprise me if Black Ops 6 is actually a launch title for the Switch 2. So we're going to start seeing Call of Duty regularly on the Switch. And in terms of first-party games, he talked about like an Earthbound remake. I don't think that's ever happening, buddy. And then basically just more third-party games that was missed out on the Nintendo Switch due to power, like Elden Ring, for example, which we're more than likely getting Elden Ring as a launch title for the Switch 2. So Ludus Vision has a lot of requests that a lot of y'all actually said too, but this tweet just has a lot of it in one, so we're gonna show his. He wants a brand new Star Fox game, an open world Donkey Kong game, Luigi's Mansion 4, Kid Icarus 2, and F-Zero, and Super Mario All-Stars 2. A lot to untake there. A new Donkey Kong game is definitely happening. We've already seen the new redesign for Donkey Kong, and it looks like that's going to be a permanent design going forward, considering that that calendar that came out shows that design, which is something that we pointed out on our stream before Mario Kart even got revealed, that maybe a Donkey Kong redesign is in the works. So I feel like if they're doing this whole big redesign, there's definitely some sort of Donkey Kong game in the works. I just don't know what it is, if it's 3D, 2D, open world, I don't know. And I also don't know when that's going to come out, but we also don't know who would be developing that. There are so many questions when it comes to a new Donkey Kong game, because it's obviously not going to be Retro Studios. So I don't know. I don't know who does that one. New Kid Icarus, everyone is wanting a new Kid Icarus. I even have my friend Ian that mods Wind Waker to play as Pit, basically, to make it look like it's a brand new Kid Icarus. The Kid Icarus fans are hoping for a new game. And you know, I kind of would have thought Uprising would have gotten like an HD re-release, but that hasn't happened yet. And you know, I don't think really Sakurai is interested in doing another Kid Icarus, and Nintendo definitely is not going to put Sakurai at a new Kid Icarus. Sakurai is going to be stuck on the Smash Bros. Series till Nintendo, like, Nintendo's like, yo, Sakurai, if you're working for us, you're working for Smash Bros, bro. You're working on nothing else. So I don't know who would do a new Kid Icarus. You would think they would do it already as an HD re-release, so maybe they re-release Uprising. And Star Fox, that's also another one that I don't know. Obviously, Miyamoto likes to be involved when it comes to Star Fox, F-Zero, Pikmin, and Miyamoto has been very focused on the Mario movie. So a lot of things have not been coming out. Like Pikmin 4 took forever. We knew about Pikmin 4 before the Nintendo Switch was even shown off. It was still called Nintendo NX. Actually, I think Pikmin 4 was talked about in 2015. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So Miyamoto's taken forever. So I don't know if he's gonna do a new Star Fox game. And obviously, the last time they did a new Star Fox game, it did not sell well. And I think Nintendo realizes that. But I also think Nintendo realizes what they did wrong with Zero. I don't know. It makes sense to have a new Star Fox, but they're probably gonna try to do some sort of gimmick. And I just don't know if Miyamoto wants to do that. He seems so focused on the movies and theme parks right now. I don't know. I honestly don't know on that one. Which, by the way, guys, I wanted to point out, I'm not being paid to talk about this, but Ludus Vision actually made a game, I'm not going to say it's Mario, but it's definitely Mario inspired, Jump World. You might have some images to show, but it's kind of cool if you have an Oculus headset. I haven't played it yet, but from the footage I've seen, it looks pretty cool, where it's a platform game in VR, inspired by you know what. So it's pretty cool. Give it a try if you guys have an Oculus headset. Han is also asking for the Final Fantasy VII trilogy. Now I'm assuming he's talking about the remakes, and it's safe to assume we are getting the remakes on the Switch 2. We know that Final Fantasy VII, according to the leaks, that Final Fantasy VII Remake was used to show developers how powerful the Switch 2 was and how great games can look. So I feel like that's going to come within the first year of the Switch 2. And in terms of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think that will probably come out next year, and probably the rest of the remakes at some point. I know they have that PlayStation exclusivity deal, so I don't know how that's going to work, but maybe 1 year after it comes out on PlayStation, you'll see it on Switch 2. All right, now we're moving to YouTube. And first up, we got someone requesting a big title for the Switch 2 that hopefully happens. Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, obviously the Nintendo Switch has all the Doom games, and Bethesda and Microsoft clearly love to support the Switch, as the Switch has received so many Doom games, so many Elder Scrolls games, or not. Actually, yeah, there has been more than one. They have the mobile game out there on the Switch, which is kind of crazy. So I do expect to see Doom at some point for the Switch 2. However, I don't think it's going to come out with the same consoles same day. However, we could be wrong here. By the time this video is recording, later this week, there is an Xbox presentation that Doom is going to be there. They might just flat out say that it's coming to the Switch 2, and maybe it comes out the same day with other consoles. I just don't see that. Got another person saying that they would like to see Fallout 3 and New Vegas for the Switch. Now, I don't think those games are going to come to the Switch 2, but I do think Fallout 4 is more than likely in the works for the Switch 2, as there's recent information that has been found that Bethesda was working on Fallout 4 for the original Nintendo Switch. And we don't have a mainline Fallout game on the Switch as of right now. And with the hype of Fallout, with the TV show, kind of makes sense to go ahead and put Fallout on the Switch. And I think Fallout 4 is just going to be the easiest thing. And I don't think they care about Fallout 76 that much, so I don't expect that to be on the Switch too. Got another comment suggesting Persona 3 Reload and Metaphor. Now, this is one that I do think is going to be happening. I just don't know when. I think one of these is going to be a launch title for the Switch 2, and I think both is more than likely coming to the Switch 2 within that first year, but I do expect Atlas is going to start supporting their Switch 2 with all the games day one with all the other consoles. Got another person saying that Mario Odyssey 2 or Super Mario Galaxy 3 or even more beat-em-up games coming to the Switch 2 would be phenomenal. Now, we do definitely know that a 3D Mario is coming to the Switch 2. I mean, we haven't had a 3D Mario game since Mario Odyssey. So this next 3D Mario game has the possibility to be something special, considering the fact that we're assuming that all that time that has been used has been going towards a new Mario game, and that's a lot of development time. That's what, like 8 years? Dude, I think a 3D Mario game is coming out this year for the Switch 2, and I think that's Nintendo's big holiday title. I could be wrong there, but we will see. I do think a 3D Mario is happening. I don't think it's a sequel to Odyssey or Galaxy. I think it's going to be its own thing. I think that's something they want Mario to be going forward. Instead of making sequels, they want new versions of the game. New gimmicks, basically. All right, we got someone suggesting the Halo Master Chief Collection with Rare Replay coming to the Switch 2, where Rare Replay has some exclusive content for the Switch, such as Donkey Kong and all the rare titles that was done with Nintendo. Now, I feel like Rare Replay could come to the Switch 2. There's a lot of speculation that it was supposed to actually already come out for the Nintendo Switch, but it got canceled due to the fact of how big that game would have been on a cartridge, and they just flat out canceled it due to it not being a physical copy. That's just speculation. We don't know, but I think that same issue could be a problem. So I don't know if they would put Rare Replay on the Switch 2, but who knows. Halo Master Chief Collection is probably coming to the Switch 2. That's been rumored, and it's coming from Nate the Hate, who did the whole thing about saying when the Switch 2 was going to be revealed, and he was right. And in that same video, he said Halo Master Chief Collection. He also said that was coming later this year, though. This one's a really good suggestion. We got someone saying Mario Maker 3. Now, we know that the Joy-Cons have some sort of mouse functionality because the reveal trailer straight up showed us that. Which I just want to point out that MonadoMax, have been saying that that looked like it was going to be some sort of mouse functionality. No one wanted to believe me when those leaks came out. And guess who ended up being correct? Yours truly. Anyways, mouse functionality with Mario Maker 3 sounds crazy good. I don't know. I think this could be really good. I guess you could compare it to Mario Paint. I don't know, but Mario Maker with that mouse feels like it's going to open the doors to some pretty awesome levels. I think Mario Maker 3 should happen for the Switch 2, and I hope they bring back those amiibo costumes, man. We got someone suggesting the Resident Evil 4 remake along with Monster Hunter. Now, I forgot what the new Monster Hunter game is. It called Wilds or something? That game is more than likely coming to the Switch 2. It comes out this year, I think, right? That new Monster Hunter game? Capcom is obviously going to be a big supporter of the Switch 2. They love the Switch. They put out so many things for the Switch, at least to what they could do with the power of that system. They even put out Cloud Games, which I think they were the only developer that truly utilized cloud games. There was a few developers out there, but Capcom was really big into it. They had Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7, and 8 actually, that you could play through the cloud. I don't know if they did the 4 remake or not, but I expect that Capcom is going to want to remake those titles specifically for the Switch 2, native ports. So yeah, I think those games are definitely coming. We got this person saying it's a cop-out answer, but they really want Red Dead Redemption 2. And to be honest with you, I think that is definitely coming to the Switch 2. That is the perfect game to showcase the Switch 2 and figuring out how powerful this system truly is. And could you imagine if somehow, some way, they managed to put the Red Dead Redemption 2 port at 60 frames per second? That would be a statement in itself, and would not surprise me if somehow that ends up happening. Guys, that is all the time we have. Y'all crushed it with these responses. If your response wasn't used, I'm sorry. I do know a lot of y'all suggested the same things too, and I also just didn't want this video to be super long. So I appreciate every single one of y'all for commenting, and we'll probably be doing more posts like that where we're using your responses for an upcoming video. So I appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys want for the Switch, whether that's first party or third party. It could be anything that you think is impossible. A game that's non-existent, you could put that in there. A new series to have come back from the dead, that's totally fine. Put whatever ideas you have in the comments. Let's make this a discussion. Guys, I have been talking for way too much. Make sure to backslash that subscribe button, like the video, check out the Twitter, check out the Discord server, check out the Instagram, the P.O. Box, become a Monado Marine, $5. But that makes it look like it's 10 bucks. It's $5 a month. Helps out the channel tremendously, so I would greatly appreciate it. If not, it's all good. Without further ado, guys, I already said that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I gotta get ready for boxing now. All right, well, yeah, I guess that's it.